Hi, I'm Nora Day, and this is the intro to self-publishing. I'm a writer, editor, proofreader, and an indie publisher, also known as self-publisher. I'm also a certified trainer for a program called Infinite Possibilities. And in that, we believe that thoughts become things. So, in that vein, I say to you that being a writer is magical. And the only thing that you have to do to claim that title is write. So, who am I? So, um, I'm a writer who was one of those who wrote, always as a child. I won a little competition when I was 10, and that set me off. I scribbled to myself for years and years, and then life got in the way. I didn't really write for a long time, and I used to say, "Oh, I'll write when I settle down." Well, I've lived in 4 countries, and I can't say that I won't live in another one. So I had to admit that I probably would never settle down, and I better start writing. So while I was living in New Zealand, I joined a writers group. It's the Romance Writers of New Zealand, and it's affiliated to the Romance Writers Association of America. If you have a chapter near you, I absolutely suggest that you join. You do not have to be a romance writer. Um, People write, in every genre there. They do have an award every year at their conference, because they have magical conferences with fabulous speakers, and there's so much help and training and support during the year from everyone. But they do have an award for a book with the best book with romantic elements, which is basically any type of romantic relationship in any genre, which is very common. So anyway, do join if you can. So I joined that, and being around people who were like me was amazing. So I got my writing mojo back, and I joined a course. Chandler Bolt, if you ever come across him, he does a 30-day writing course with the self-publishing school. And I did a course with him. I wrote this book here, How to Become the Go-To Person. And I published it when I was 54. It got to #1 in its category. And I got a bestseller badge. For only lasted a few hours, but I got it. This one here is beside it is How to Sell Your House in 30 Days. That's the one that sells the most. And down here is where you want your book to be, if at all possible. This is where, when somebody goes online to buy a book, they will then see something like this underneath. Customers who viewed that particular book also viewed these, and if yours is there, it is priceless advertising, totally free, but is being recommended by Amazon. So you're on a winner. The others here are all fiction. That's a novella. I have been writing a sequel to that for a while, but now I have a writers group on Facebook. It's called Start Thinking, Start Writing. If you can't find it, just contact me. We meet every Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock, and it is very supportive. We on the Facebook group, we've started writing 500 words a day, trying for 500 words a day. That's our aim. If we fall short, Nobody's going to die. Okay. It's one of those things where at least if you try, and at least if you get into the habit of writing every day, you might get stuff done. I'm getting things finished, and any writer will tell you that their PC, wherever, is just full of unfinished work. So let's put an end to that, is what I say. So anyway, so yeah, so that's that. I've got over 100 publications live on Amazon at the moment. I had up to about 200. I did a trawl and I got rid of a lot of them, but I do a lot of low content stuff. So, coloring books, notebooks, journals, stuff like that. But it's so when it gives me the confidence and the experience to sit here in front of you and say, I know how to self-publish, okay? So, and any questions you have, I will be able to answer them. So this is very dear to my heart because there is a lot more to publishing a book than just writing it and slapping a cover on it. There is a national novel writing contest. Well, it's called the National Novel Writing it's NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writers Month, okay, where people write 50,000 words from the 1st to the 30th of November. An awful large majority slap a cover on it on the 1st of December and either put it up on Amazon or send it off to some unsuspecting publisher thinking that they're going to have written the latest, greatest masterpiece. No. At a writers' conference, I heard that editors call December NaNoShredmo, where everything gets shredded. So in this little introduction, we're going to discuss why you're writing a book, how to do your research and the type of keywords to use, the genre that you want to write in, your titles, the formatting, your cover, and pre-launch. Okay, I'm not going into an awful lot of detail on anything. I'll just give you the highlights. And to be honest, if you are, good with technology, you can run with this. Okay, so with your research and your keywords, you're not just researching your material. Now, this is good for both fiction and nonfiction. Okay, so you have to research your title, your cover, and your material, obviously. So especially if you're writing in a genre that requires facts, then you need to fact check, or and like historical fiction, or if you're writing any type of nonfiction, you have to have your fact checking right. But in the case of nonfiction, there are a number of academic search engines, okay? But don't just go to Google. So we've got Bing, DuckDuckGo, and Yahoo, and they'll all come up with different results. So try that. AnswerThePublic.com is really good because it, if you type in a word or two words, it will bring up what people put into the questions that people put into search engines. So this is great for your long tail keyword phrases. So for instance, somebody goes to Amazon and they type in romance books in the search bar. That'll bring up a million, maybe 2 million, because romance is the top selling genre on Amazon. Then they'll say, oh, right, so they'll maybe put in historical romance books. That'll bring up maybe half that number. You're still talking huge numbers. Now, this is somebody who is not sure of what they're looking for. Obviously, if you've got a favorite author or whatever, you're going to go looking for them. But so then they put in maybe Regency romance books. Now they're getting somewhere, okay? And they can keep whittling it down to, maybe to a decade or something like this. But when you are publishing your book, you get 7 options for keywords. You want to put in those long-tailed keyword phrases, not just words. So if you go to the likes of Answer the Public, I can't remember how many, I think it's about 2 or 3 searches you get free every day. But you get a huge number of results, so you've got plenty to work with. And so say for instance, you're writing paranormal romance, you type in paranormal romance and see what people are asking, and those are the questions that you then use as keyword phrases. Okay. Categories. If you, okay, so this happens quite a bit. So cozy romance it can be niched down into a number of different niches. So, cats, romances featuring cats, cozy romance, cozy mystery featuring cats, a cozy romance, mystery featuring romance, a cozy mystery set in cafes, hugely popular. Okay. You can only have 2 categories when you're putting up your book. So what you do is you pick the 2 that are the most popular, maybe, or or what are most used. You are at this point you have looked at your competitors to see what are the top 2 categories that they're in. Okay, so you put them into those 2 categories, but then you go back to your competitors and you start looking at all the other categories that they might have their mysteries featuring cats, mysteries set in cafes, whatever. They could have a number of them, and they'll have, you might have 10 books. So get the, the bestsellers. So you might say you have the top 10, and they may not all be in the same categories. So extrapolate all the different categories, and then you contact KDP support, and you do this through your KDP account. At the very bottom, there is a contact button. And when you select that, when you click on that, it will bring you up a selection. And at the top, very close to the top, it says something about categories. I can't remember exactly. I have this step by step in my self-publishing course, but in there, you can then contact support with the information that they'll ask you for, and you can tell them that you want to go into all these different categories. Now, say for instance, you've got a cozy mystery featuring cats. You can also put that into a category, say, for cat lovers, okay, which comes under veterinary or something like that, So if you put your cozy mystery featuring a cat into an animal category about cats, the chances are your book could be the number 1 because it's fiction. Okay, and all you need to do is get a couple of bestseller tags to be able to call yourself a bestseller, and suddenly you're going to get noticed. Okay, so this is how you're going to make money, because if you just put your book up and you're not clever with your placement and your marketing and all the rest of it, you're not going to make any money. And so many writers are not writing to make money, because most people know that I hate saying it, that you're not going to get rich. It's very, very unlikely that you're going to be able to give up your job and to go writing fiction, unless you're, J.K. Rowling or James Patterson, or, and James Patterson has help from other writers as well. So, okay. But being clever will earn you some money. Okay. I do get paid every month. It's not a lot, but there are times when it has made a difference. So, okay, so this is what you have to ask yourself, no matter whether it's fiction or non-fiction that you're writing. So what is the goal of your book? What's its purpose? If you're writing fiction, is it to entertain? Do you want to make people laugh? Do you want to make them cry? Do you want to make them think? Is there a moral, a strong moral through your story? Always keep it in mind, have that decided at the beginning, so that while you're writing, that's your goal. If it's non-fiction, is the purpose to help people? You have your story. You will use your story a lot through a self-help book. So that's it's your genre. Do you have a title? Go to other books in your genre and see what their titles are. If it's non-fiction, it's very much how to. If it's fiction, just see how they use the words in their title. Look at like there are loads of the same books, the same titled books on Amazon everywhere, but look at how the makeup of the bestseller titles, and keep that in mind as you're creating your title. Okay, what app are you using to write your book? And now I'm just going to tell you that this is where people get stuck and never write their book, because they think that they must be able to write on Scrivener, which is quite complicated. You have to learn how to use it. Well, if you're spending loads of time learning how to use Scrivener, you're not writing, and that's what you're supposed to be doing. So use Word, okay? Or you can use Word, or if you're worried that you might lose your work, which, I've lost 27,000 words the first time I did NaNoWriMo, and I didn't finish, because that's just gut-wrenching stuff, right? But you can do it online. There is, if you're using a tablet or your phone, you can use drafts, and if you're on a desktop or laptop, use Penzu.com. It's PENZU. Or ZU if you're in the US. It's like an online diary, and I've been using it for years and years and years. And it is I've been using the free version, although there is a paid version as well. And so all your stuff is in the cloud. It's wonderful. And then, do you need an ISBN? You do not. It's an ISBN for digital is optional. Okay. It's nice. It's a nice to have. For print, you do need it, and the reason you need it is because of all those books that are called the same name. So the ISBN actually differentiates from one to the other. Okay, if you are on, if you are non-fiction and you have a strong brand, you need to buy your own ISBN. If it doesn't matter about your brand, or if it's fiction, you can get a free one from Amazon. Okay, I'll talk about that later. So the questions to ask yourself once you're ready to start writing: have you set a manuscript completion deadline? If you have, you're much more likely to finish. Okay. If you're just writing, you'll just continue to write, and I've been doing that for years. Have you sourced an editor, and have you got a deadline for your editor? You don't have to do it straight away, but do keep in mind that it is something that you're going to need. Okay. There are different types of editors. If you're not sure of your story, if you're not sure you have the right layout, if you're not sure of the flow, you'll need one type of editor, but then everybody needs another type of editor, which I will talk about again in a minute. Have you got an outline that you can flesh into chapters? So if this is fiction, you will, it will be your story, your rising action, your making sure you've got conflict, your falling action. I don't want to get into this here. This is just for you to keep in mind that there is an arc on your story, and you need to have all your chapters. If it's non-fiction, all those chapters will be subtopics to your main topic, okay? Have you written your book as if you are speaking to one person? And I have this in bold for a reason, which we will come to in the next slide. If you're writing non-fiction, have you included examples, case studies and testimonials? And have you included next steps in your book? So if you are a coach or a consultant, a trainer of some type, have you included a call to action at the end of your book? Hang on, this is where you're talking to one person, okay? Whether I had to do this is an example of how you create your reader. This was a copywriting exercise that I had to do. I will be giving you the slides so you can see what it is later, but this was an advert, and I had to find the prospect. And the prospect is Mark. And Mark he's an accountant. He's working for one of the big five. He needs a promotion, okay, for his own family reasons. So he's learned to play golf so this is to keep in with his boss, right? And so he can talk to him when the boss is talking about his golf, as he always does over Friday night drinks, okay? Now the boss says, right, you're a golfer, so you're going to have to come and play in our corporate event. Mark is freaked out. He's really worried he's going to make a fool of himself. So he has seen this advert, which promises him that he'll be a better golfer overnight. And so the emotionally compelling reason for this is that, so that he will buy it, is that he'll have a good performance on the golf course, make his boss look good, and might be enough to swing the promotion for Mark. Okay, notice the play on words there. But this is how you get really in depth into your character, into your reader, so that you will write your story, your book, no matter what it is. You are only going to write to one person, because if you are writing to everyone, you're going to get no one. Okay. So when you finish your book, that's only the beginning. I know you're right, the end, and you think it's wonderful, but the next page then says the beginning all over again, because now you've got editing, beta readers, your cover design, your formatting, and your distribution. Your step one is editing, and in this you must edit the manuscript as much as you can before you send it to a professional editor. The less they have to do, the less expensive it will be for you. So I'm a copy editor. I will check your book, your work for flow, for I'll fact check. I'll so you make sure that if your heroine is called Florence at the beginning, that she's still Florence 3 chapters in. So, and then I'll also, like, all your grammar and spelling and everything. A developmental editor will check your story for structure. Okay, so that's a different editor. We go more in depth again into that in the course. Then you need beta readers. So the beta reader will read it for you and check for things like typos, and again, that characters are not misnamed throughout, and things like this. Try to send it at least after you don't send it to the beta reader until you have done your best. with it. Okay, I would send it to the beta reader before the final edit. Now, people ask their friends and family to be beta readers for them, and because their friends and family love them, they want to, they don't want to let them down, so they agree to read. That's not the way to do it, because they may not read in the genre that you're writing, okay? And so they can't give you good, instructive criticism, okay? Or critiquing rather than criticism. They may, if they're always reading romance, they're not going to be able to critique a horror for you, okay? It's also, this is a good place to point out that if you usually write romance, this is not the place to start learning to write horror, okay? So make sure that you write in the genre that you at least read a fair bit of. So that's what you do. You qualify your beta readers before you ask them to read for you. And sometimes you may need to pay them, because you'll send it to them. You need to give them at least a couple of weeks. But if you're heading into, weeks 3 and 4 and they haven't come back to you, as happens a lot, you might need an incentive, okay, whatever that is. So you need to think about your budget for editing or any type of outsourcing. So this is whether it's your formatting, your cover design, or so due to whatever plays to your strengths. So if you're good at graphic design, well, then you can be confident enough that you're able, with good research, you'll be able to design your own cover. But so the type of book, to, like, if it's an academic book versus a fiction, or a self-help book, there are different levels of editing that are required. Your own writing skill level. I mean, some people are wonderful writers and cannot spell, anything with more than 4 letters in it, and even that could be a struggle sometimes. So, you have to take all these into consideration, and whether or not you're familiar with editing. I would just say, just make sure you have at least got a free version of Grammarly. It will pick up the most common mistakes, but don't rely on it totally, okay? Even if you have the pro version, that will give you it will give you ways to structure your sentence. Sometimes if you do that, you're just taking away your voice. Sometimes bad writing is good writing, so you just go with your gut on a lot of it. So our covers, these are 2 of mine. I've done them both. I use a couple of different programs specifically for book covers. The one on the left is a coloring book, and the one on the right is the 30 days to get your house ready for sale. These both sell well, and I believe it's because they are very colourful. Okay, I mean, yeah, they're good, obviously, because if they weren't, they'd get bad reviews, but they also stand out, and you want your book to stand out. Your formatting is so important. I read a book the other day on Kindle, and each chapter was starting a line further down the page, that I got to the stage where the chapter heading was right down at the very bottom of the page. You don't want that. You want your book to look professional, So when you're putting your book up on KDP, and KDP is Kindle Direct Publishing, you have 2 options. So you're putting it onto Kindle, which is digital, and you're putting it onto Amazon Print, which is also still called CreateSpace, but it's now Amazon Print as well. So the Kindle version, the digital version, goes up in either the Word doc or an EPUB file, whereas the print goes up in PDF version. If you want to put it up in an EPUB, and it is good to do this because if you've got it, you're able to look at it and see that it's all correct. You can download Kindle Create to check this, okay? I know this is probably all double Dutch to you at the moment, but it wouldn't be if you've done it, or if you have worked your way through the course, you understand. But it's all I'll say to you is, if you are using Word, so you have a copyright page, and underneath, when you put in your copyright information, do a page break, and then you've got your table of contents. This is not always necessary on the print, but it is required, especially for non-fiction, but it's a good option on fiction as well. So underneath your table of contents, you do another page break, and then after each and every chapter, you do a page break, and this will stop any of this overlap, or your page is not looking right when they're published. So that's a little tip for you, and that's actually, if you're able to get to that point, you're doing really well. Your book is actually looking good. So I mean, I'm saying here, anyone who does a self-publishing course obviously wants to self-publish themselves. It is expensive to outsource the formatting and all of that. So if you are formatting and compiling your manuscript yourself, you need to know where you're going to put it. So these are the main platforms. There are others, okay? Some of them, like the Ingram Spark, it costs to put up there. I'm just going with the simple, everything that I teach is the easiest way to do anything, okay? So we've got Amazon, Kobo, Smashwords, and Draft to Digital. Amazon is single retailer, okay? There is a little, when you're putting up your book, there is a checkbox that you can tick, and this allows your book to be distributed, and it will be distributed by the likes of Smashwords or Draft to Digital. You get less commission, but my attitude is anything, is better than nothing. So, sorry, I meant royalties, commission. But anyway, so your royalties are made up, your payments, they're made up of the what's left over after your print cost and the commission that Amazon takes. Okay, so that's either you put your book in, and it depends on. So if you're doing a digital, you can put it at 35% commission up to $2.99, and over $2.99 you can have 70% commission. Okay, so it's the print cost depends on how complicated your book is. If you've just got pure text document with a cover, the print cost is very low. If you've got images, or if it's in color, the print cost is going to be higher. Okay, so everything reduces the cost of your book. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Amazon gives you your own free ISBNs, as does Smashwords, and I believe Draft to Digital. Not 100% sure on that one, actually. I didn't check that, but anyway, Kobo, you have to buy one. Okay, Kobo is for Nook, which is more geared towards Mac products. Okay, so you've written a book. You are now going to launch it. Okay, you're going to publish it. If you put it up on Amazon without any marketing, you are not going to sell anything. There's a saying in real estate when I was in New Zealand, you can't sell a secret. And it's the same thing with your book. So what you do, like even if you have just written an outline, okay, if you have an idea in your head that you are going to write a book, start writing and call yourself a writer. Once you are writing, you are a writer. You are a published author when you put your book online, okay, whenever you put your book up there. So there is work you can do from day one. So announce that you're going to be a writer, that you are now writing a book. If you're writing fiction, you can give your main character its own fan page on Facebook, okay? One of the writers in my writing group is writing about a fantasy about dragons. Like, it's perfect to have its own. They are perfect to have their own Facebook page. This family of dragons, brilliant marketing ploy there. There is a lady called the Proof Fairy, and you will find her at theprooffairy.com/podcast, and she will. You can apply to be interviewed. Okay, so check it out. I'm not sure if like what all the criteria is, but if she interviews writers, and then you have something to put on your Facebook page or your social media, whatever. Get a landing page, otherwise known as a sales page. You don't have to have a full-on website. Okay, people get awfully hung up about creating their websites. They get so hung up about creating their websites they don't write. It's another one of the tools things. You don't need that yet. Okay, so just get a domain name. Use your own name is always best. Okay, because then you can have subdomains if you want to. So say you have a series, which is always good, by the way, if you're writing fiction. So you've got a series, and we'll just say it's we'll just call it the Cozy Mystery Series, because I write Cozy Mysteries. This is why I'm saying this. So, and then you can have a tab, and it might lead off to another website where you'll have your books. But do use your own name, because in that way you can have lots of different things going on. Social media, again, don't get complicated. Pick two. I'd say to everybody, use Twitter. It's brilliant for authors. They've got, just look it up. Just if you look for Writers Lift, you can do a Writers Lift, and you ask for followers. You put something in your bio that you have written, and just ask for followers, and you'll get them. And just be nice, follow them back. But definitely, and so if you're writing nonfiction, go with LinkedIn. It's the best place, because mostly people who are writing nonfiction are coaches and trainers and consultants, so they will be looking for clients, and that's where you'll find them. And for fiction, go Facebook, and then for both go with Twitter. Okay. So this is how you share your progress. Tell them why you're writing it. Tell them why it excites you, and why they should care. And always remember the WIFM. What's in it for me? Okay, it is when you're all social media is 20% you and 80% them. Okay, it's 80% information for them and 20% for you. Ask questions, run a small survey, post a poll. Polls are really popular. You don't have to do much work. Everything is about the least amount of work. Create and post relevant infographics, create and post image quotes from your book. So if you use Canva, which I just shout from the rooftops, use Canva. You can use it for free. You can make gorgeous Facebook posts and pick pieces out of your book. If it's a funny quote in a fiction or an inspiring quote in a non-fiction, make a Facebook post of it and use that. I'm working with a lady who has written a memoir, and I had a real aha moment in it where she says, that sometimes a choice is not a choice; it is the only option, and this lifted a bear off my back. Okay, because something I've struggled with over the years, and so I made a post on that because I love it. So plan a contest around your launch, so you'll give away copies, and start thinking about building an email list. I know everybody talks about it, but it's important. And I'll tell you what, just because you don't get anything from it, you can be sending out emails and it feels like it's just crickets. There's nothing happening. Well, I've had an email list for a couple of years now, and there's some people on it that I know personally, and they will always respond to me, but otherwise not. But when I was recording this, I presented this on Wednesday night to my writers group, and I sent out the email, and a lovely lady actually turned up who was on that list. And she's been getting emails. We don't even know why she's on it. Okay, she doesn't know why she's on it, but she signed up for something, in the last couple of years. So keep in there. Just keep the baby steps. Okay, just keep moving forward. Ask for advanced copy reviewers. Now, these are people who will read your book in its final form. You can send them a PDF, or you can send them. If you put up your book on Amazon pre-launch, okay, you're not actively promoting it or anything, but you can put it up, and you can get author copies for the cost of print, okay, so it's at cost price, and then you can send them these copies. They will read them, and they will leave you a review, and they will mention that they got advance copies, because Amazon frowns on friends and family reviews, okay? And they will know. I don't know how they know. Big Brother is watching you and all that sort of stuff, but they can tell. Some people have lost, especially if you are a new writer and suddenly you've got hundreds of reviews, okay? You might have a big family, but anyway, just be wary on that. So that's that. Now, say for instance, you want to write a book, but you're like, see, you really, really want to be published rather than really, really, really want to write the book, right? Because an awful lot of people want to be published but hate writing. You can do something like this, right? This is a lazy thing to do. So when I was a child, I loved Heidi. And I really believed that our reading habits were wonderful back then, because this book was written for 7-year-olds. And I know that now, 13, 14-year-olds find the writing very difficult to understand, because it's clunky and it's old-fashioned, and some of the words are not even in use anymore. So on Gutenberg.org, you will find hundreds of books, articles, music, images, anything you can think of, that are all out of copyright. And I'll still say, still check the copyright, okay? Still check it, but they are out of copyright on that website. And I got Heidi from there, and I rewrote it. It's still the same. I have kept it. I know that people have taken it and have actually taken a lot of there's a lot of Christian content in it. Okay, they've taken that out, but for me, that is the essence of the story, and I have kept it in. But I rewrote it in plain English. Okay, and look, you can see I've got a couple of 5-star reviews. It sells well, and I got the new cover on it. On the front of it, I have this edition by me. Inside it says, the original author, Joanna Spiri, and so like it's all above board, all of that sort of thing. I usually I wouldn't put my name to something that is not written by me. Okay. There is other things called, and this is mostly for non-fiction writers now. So if you're very busy, but you want blog posts or articles, or you want a non-fiction book that's not personal, okay, there is a thing called private label rights, and this is stuff that's written by somebody else, and they put a license on it that other people can use it. Okay, they can sell it. They can sell it to other people. But some people just take it and they will put it up. They'll put it out there as it is. I would never do that because it's badly written for a start. I think a lot of it is written by AI bots. So I rewrite it. I use it as research. I might cut a lot of it out. I'll do my own research. I'll add stuff into it. I will rebrand it and put a new cover on it, and I can then put it up on Amazon. I have one here. This is, I'll just hold it up and hopefully you can see it. This one is called what Benjamin Franklin could teach you about internet marketing. What I love about it is that Benjamin Franklin invented the Franklin stove. And somebody else had one out at the same time, which was a lot better. And I think it was cheaper. But Benjamin Franklin sold a lot better because he was much better at marketing. And it's still selling, right? He's still known for it. So that was PLR. And yeah, look, it is what it is. I don't put my name on it. I put a generic name of Cloud Publishings. So if when I'm writing, I want to write fiction. Okay, so there's that. There is one that I have written, which is actually Oh No, Not Again, and that one is for it's to do with my certified trainer in infinite possibilities, because I like to work with women who have had problems with serial bad relationships. Okay, so that one is, I did write that one myself. There's no PLR in that, just in case anybody sees a non-fiction book and thinks I didn't write it. So on my website, noraday.com, you'll get the only self-publishing checklists you'll ever need. There's 20 of them, and you can work your way through those if you are comfortable with the technology. Okay. So yes, I do have a course. It is on helpfromthecloud.net, The Path to Self-Publishing. It's a 5-week course. Unlike other self-publishing courses, I don't start at the end of the book. As you can tell, I do like to help people get a book out there that's actually worth reading. There isn't any point in producing something that's either really badly written or actually is of no interest in this moment in time. So one of the things on the research side that I'd forgotten about actually is when you are researching, look at the top 100 genres or the top 20 genres or something like that. The ones at the bottom are not selling. Okay, so that's how you can tell if your genre is popular or not. So in this, and I'll take a little drop of water. As I said, I'm giving you and excuse me, I'm giving you the slides so you can see what's included in this course. But there is it takes you through the whole preparation stages of what you need to do to get your book ready to get to publication. Okay, I made mistakes, and I tell you about them so that you don't have to. Okay, that in module 2 we talk about what you need to do to get your book ready to launch, and the pre-launch promotion strategy is an important part of the course. We go through the step-by-step process to set up on Amazon. You can expand your reach through additional publishing platforms and promotion, and how you can put fun into your book launch. Okay, and just how to get people to interact with you and be excited for you and about the book and want to read it. And then there's bonuses. So the first bonus is the one that I offer, which is the pre-course module, which takes you through what you need to write a book that people want to read. You also get making your Amazon page, author page work for you, because this comes when you can't actually do anything with it until you have published a book. And then you get an author page, and this is like your shop front on Amazon. You can put all your books up there as you publish. You can write, you tell people about yourself. There's loads, and it's constantly evolving. Okay, and 10 steps to publishing on Kindle. Okay, there is actually something that I did forget to say. Amazon have brought out a thing called Vella, where you can publish a book or anything in chapters. You can just publish it chapter by chapter by chapter. It hasn't done terribly well, I believe, in America. It's only just been introduced on this side of the Atlantic, and I don't know how it's going to go here, but keep in mind, it actually does very well in Japan. So if you want to publish, if you're into anything, especially any sort of comic books or anything like that, make sure that you're publishing in Japan. Okay, so that is it. You will find the information about the publishing course on the website Help from the Cloud, the Path to Self-Publishing. There is a tab there. I intended to present this live, but I'll tell you the truth. I had a problem on Wednesday night while I was presenting this. It was just one of those things, but it it was like that. Don't work with animals and children. Well, it was sort of a bit like that. There was an interruption. Not a big deal or anything, but I lost my flow, and I have actually re-recorded this. So it has taught me a lesson. I am going to not record it live. I'm going to do this online. The good news is I was going to charge $147 US dollars for the course, for a live course. Because it's not live, I'm going to bring that down to $97. Okay, so it's $97. I'm off to change the website, and I'd love to hear your comments. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Okay, thanks a million. Bye-bye.